is very important. And when we are born, we learned how to speak language, because language is what we use to interact. So when it comes to tech now come in form of its own phenomenon. Instead of language, it come as a tools. So anything you want to do in life, despite the fact that you need language to be able to do that thing, because you need to interact with people, you will also need a universal tool to execute anything you want to do. And in this world of nowadays, in the world that we have today, and in the future that we are going, tech will be a kind of a universal tool. The same way English language is kind of universal everywhere in the world. If you go to Singapore, if you go to China, if you can speak English, you will not lose. Despite the fact that English is not their mother tongue. But with English, you can interact, you can connect, you can relate. But when it comes to processes, implementation of process, in the future, there's no way you can do without tech, because tech is the new tool. If you look at communication, look at transport, look at medicine, look at agriculture, tech is already taking over all these places. Look at military. Before, they used to rate Nigerian soldiers as one of the best in the world, but we don't get that accolade again. Why? It's not as if we don't have men in the army again. It's not as if probably we've replaced our men with children or with goats or something. We still have men in military, but why are we lagging behind? Because our military is kind of backward in terms of technology. All other countries are investing heavily in technology. Even some countries that actually are not really good in technology, they are using their money to purchase technology, because they know that technology is the tool. As a military general, within your city room, you can be controlling drone that is doing surveillance in area like Sambisa, area like anywhere that bandit may be, because of technology. You can just imagine if there is no technology during COVID, how will university students still be in touch with their education? How many library did you have in your local government? Almost all the library, they are dead. But because of technology, you can swipe up your phone, launch YouTube, and watch some of the free courses over there. You can even some lecturer are even giving lecture on Zoom. So lecturer that is in Maiduguri will be giving lecture to a student in Lagos because of technology. So technology feature is actually is just technology is kind of alien before. Human beings actually use their energy, their bone, their muscle to actually work. But now it's not as if we are lazy, but we want to optimize the way we work. And we can only do that by having a kind of a supporting striker that will make our task easier. And that's technology. The way we use English to communicate, we'll use technology no matter the task you are doing. Either you are doing tailoring, either you are doing bricklaying, either you are doing civil engineering. You will use technology to enhance and to improve the activity that you are doing. Without technology, you'll be lacking behind. If we have two bricklayer, one bricklayer from Nigeria, another bricklayer from China, go to VI, see the kind of the building that Chinese people are building there, because they are far more technologically advanced than us. That's why they can build 10-story building within 3 months, where we will use maybe 1 year to complete that 10-story building. But because of the technology that incorporating and integrating into their activity, it make their work more easier and more effective, and even more stand the test of time because of technology. So I don't know how many the time we have. Probably there are still a lot of questions. Probably I can stop here. But what I just want you to take away is that Technology doesn't end at software development area. It did not end at electrical engineering area. Technology of the future is a technology that will be universal no matter the profession that you are. Either you are an accountant, you are a finance person, you are actress, you are medical doctor. The same way it will be required for you to pass your English before you can have recognized professionally in your profession. It will require technology from you in the future, no matter the area or angle that you are actually looking
Thank you
at.
very much, sir. Wow, wow. That's like wow. This is a whole lot of wealth of experience. Thank you so much, sir. This really, relay everything that entails in the question I asked. You spoke about most of everything and answered most of the question that tech entails several things and doesn't end at software the development and all that. Thank you very, very much, sir. Thank you so much for enlightening people to see that tech is beyond just maybe data analysis. Tech is beyond coding. Tech is universal. It's a universal language. I want everyone to yes. Please, if you have questions, kindly note them down. You can drop them in the a session for Q&A. So yes, just prepare your questions. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It's going to engineer Ebenezer Chiazo. You're welcome, sir. I hope you're there, sir. Hello. Uh, hope he's there.
I am with
Hello.
you, Damilola. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, sir. Welcome, sir. It's great to have you here. Okay, so yes, sir. The question that I would like to ask is regarding tech, the actually the origin of tech, because I've heard some people say, in fact, I recently heard somebody saying, although tech can do this, tech can do that, but there are still some things they can that technology cannot do because it's just humans that can do these things. Technology can do this. But I still see tech breaking grounds, like doing things. And so I want to ask, sir, what emerging technologies do you see having the most significant impact on our industry in the coming years? And can you kindly give us like the origin of tech and to enlighten us? Yes, sir. We'd like that you answer that. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dami. Okay, so for the most impactful technologies out there currently, I'll say, or tech that has the potential to impact our industry the most, like in the coming years, I would say currently, like we're saying, artificial intelligence is one of them. That is getting a machine, that's a device to basically do what a human being does, to be able to seemingly reason like a human being. That was like stuff that you'd see in movies back in the day, but these days, and I'm guessing back then also, like they had people that spoke against it that it's not possible. But these days we can use ChatGPT, we can use Bard. There are several AI tools out there
Yes,
that
sir.
make life people better. So definitely AI. I think currently we're even just scratching the surface of what AI can do. It would have its very very significant impact in the future. So AI is one of them. The second one I can think of right now is 5G technology, right? So it seems a bit underrated, but then 5G would make would make it possible to become possible. So having to perform certain medical operations, this type of that's remotely. Let's say someone is in the US, can perform an operation on someone in Nigeria using like a robotic arm and also just linking over the internet. So stuff like that are sort of time sensitive. That's when a command is given from the US, it has to travel to Nigeria within nanoseconds if possible. So stuff like 5G would actually open up certain industries and make certain things that were not possible before possible because the internet speed will be multiplied. It will be able to handle
Yes, sir.
more devices. Yeah. So 5G is one of them. I think another one is actually quantum computing. That's like a very silent kid in the block. Quantum computing is like it's basically getting the speed of computers to be very fast. So while 5G sort of solves for the speed of networking or connectivity, quantum computing solves for the speed of computing itself. So it's you'll
Mm.
be able to handle a ton of theoretical operations via computer. So I think quantum computing is like something that's even I personally I'm quite interested to say work, but at the same time it actually poses a ton of dangers as well in
Mm.
terms of like negative impact because it would sort of invalidate a ton of the security measures we currently have. Even banking systems will no longer be secure if quantum computing actually comes to be like gets commercialized. That's very although these days like it's getting popular, but I think they're still trying to crack it actually. So those are the top three that come to mind. That's technologies that impact our society in the future.
So,
Yeah.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. I hope everyone is following, and then you have your notepad. And thank you so much, sir, for enlightening us about the technologies that would have most impact in the industry in coming years. Okay, sir. Yes, still same for you, sir, and Mr. Engineer.
You could go with Mr. Anyone already.
I'm so sorry. Engineer Ebenezer, yes. So this question is
Yeah,
still
no
for
problem.
you, sir. Okay. So yes,
Okay.
you talked about artificial intelligence. So how can emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain be applied in different sectors? And what potential benefits do they offer? And also, sir, I think I mentioned something about you briefing us about tech, like the origin and, and the part of where I told you about where humans, like you already stated that artificial intelligence is already doing most of what humans can do to on reasons like human. So I would like that you would expatiate on emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain, how it can be applied in diverse sectors, and what potential benefits they offer.
Okay. All right. Thanks for that, Dami. So, okay. So as for the origin of tech, tech actually started like computing in general started beyond just machines. It was you would have stuff like abacus, people trying to get a system to be able to do certain calculations. That's where when man started abstracting out certain functions to tools. That was like seemingly the origin of tech, but it eventually translated to several types of computers that were now able to solve more complex. Basically, a computer is basically a device that solves a very complex problem and is able to display certain things using some engineering components, but I think at the root of it, it's just ones and zeros. That's being able to compute the basic things, but at a very, very large scale. So when complex systems started being built, you have guys like Alan Turing coming up with a very, very, very complicated system back in the 1900s. That's when they used a computer to crack the Enigma code. That's what the Soviet Union was using to communicate. So I think that was like back then when man actually started to abstract out certain of their functions to that's to be able to calculate certain things to seeming some devices or some objects. Yeah, but now we have it's very, very complicated. That's technology has advanced over the years. It has actually multiplied. It has advanced exponentially, basically. And so we now have very tiny devices. Back then, devices were like very huge. You'll probably feel like multiple rooms. But these days, just right in your pocket, you have, let's say, a 6 gig and 2 TB device that would have been probably like magic back then.
Mm.
Yeah, so it actually evolved from the need of man to abstract our problems to something else or other than man. Yeah, I think that's where tech started from. But for the second question, that's could you remind me again of the second question, please?
Okay, sir. Okay, so I said How can emerging technologies like artificial intelligence that you just explained and enlightened us about and blockchain be applied in diverse sectors? And what potential benefits do they offer?
Okay, so stuff like artificial intelligence is these days is almost like a buzzword because almost everyone wants to add AI to their product. But AI is actually has a very huge impact. Like I mentioned before, it's something that would actually radicalize the way humans operate. That's in terms of, I think first of all, it would actually currently it's even threatening certain classes of jobs. But I'll say, in terms of it, the impact of AI, or rather how people can incorporate that into what they do. So imagine something that was not possible before. So say you want to get you want to build a system, right, to be able to talk to you when you're feeling down, or like a digital counseling uh, system, something that's just supposed to sort of provide you comfort when you feel stressed, that kind of thing. So before, it almost looked like it was impossible. At some point, they said that they brought out certain types of systems. Now, those systems, the way they work was a bit rigid and restrictive. So it was probably based off of if and else statement. So that if you enter the AC to give you this kind of output. So it was still a bit rigid. But these days, you have it's still rigid in that sense, just that the amount of the data set it's working with is extremely vast, that it's able to peer into billions of data points and be able
Mm.
to like observe correlations between certain of those points and determine what like a human being will be able to infer. Currently, those kind of operations are performed in our brains at the moment. I think we call them neural systems, but they just simulated that on a device or computing level. So that's what AI is. So basically, how to or rather the impact AI would have, I would say it would be astronomical, yeah.
Mm.
But at the same time, it also pose a very huge danger to society. I think that's part of what a lot of guys are now speaking up of, or up for. That's guys like Elon Musk calling for the regulation of the AI space, because as much as we can use it to, say, find the cure for cancer,
Mm.
uh, someone can use it to find the virus that will destroy the world. So, I mean, that would probably sound like a conspiracy theory, but at the same time, it's something that I've watched a documentary, and they actually built something like that, and they had to shut it down. So, stuff like this happens. It shows how advanced we can be, but at the same time, it shows how unsafe we can be. Yeah, so
Mm.
it's a tool I believe can be used for good and evil, and it just depends on how you decide to
Thank
go
you
about
very much.
using it.
Thank you very much, sir. Wow. Thank you so much, sir. Picked a lot of points. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I hope we're all following. Picked that AI can be a tool to help us get more advanced and can also be unsafe at the same time. Because, like Engineer Ebenezer just said, you can use AI to know more about how to, cure cure something like a disease like cancer, and then also to create something that can destroy the world. Thank you very much, sir. That's a beautiful one. Thank you, sir. Okay, so this next question is going to Mr. Solio Adewale. Yes, sir. Okay, sir, could you share examples of successful technologies implementations that have transformed businesses or industries, like practical tips for leveraging technology to improve efficiency and productivity in the workspace?
Okay. Actually, there are
All
several
right, sir.
of them. So probably I will just pick maybe two.
Okay, sir.
One in the field of insurance and the second one in the field of medicine.
Hmm.
So I will start from that of the
All right.
insurance. Traditionally, the way in the insurance sector actually work, uh, people we buy premium, and staff in the insurance company will evaluate the risk and all those kind of things to be able to know the value of the premium they want to set to you. And also they will be able to evaluate the amount of money they will pay back to you in case of any danger. But nowadays, because of the advance of data analysis, machine learning, artificial intelligence, it has actually drastically make their work easier. There are several machine learning models that have been built that will be able to actually automatically detect the level of risk that any that can actually occur, and it will be able to automatically evaluate and put costs on that risk in such a way that insurers will be able to actually know the amount they're supposed to sell uh, a particular premium to you. So let's say let's give an example. Let's say I'm living in Maiduguri. I have house in Maiduguri. Every one of us know what is going on in Maiduguri. So if I now come to an insurance company that I want to insure my property, uh, an insurance company that is not incorporating technology, they will, a kind of guesswork that they used to do previously to evaluate the risk and also to be able to know the amount of premium they want to set to me. But now, because of the era of predictive modeling, they're supposed to have used predictive modeling to actually create a model for situation that is happening in Maiduguri. And every day, more data based on what is happening, more data is being fed into that model to make that model to be more intelligent and to be able to actually create output 100% or 99.9% accurate evaluation of the risk that can occur in Maiduguri. With that, the insurance company will be able to will not lose, and also me that I'm buying that insurance also will not lose because of that accurate evaluation that is done by machine learning model. And that model is actually based on the data that is being fed into that model, day-to-day data that is being fed. So it reduce guesswork, it remove 100% remove guesswork from their work, and also it provide a way for them to evaluate the model and the result that they are actually getting from that model. So for now, anybody that is doing insurance and you've actually now have that capability to understand how machine learning work, you get a one or two even certification on machine learning, you are actually hot cake in insurance company, because insurance company have actually embraced technology 100%, and they've actually seen how robust technology can be when they are actually selling their product.
Okay.
So apart from insurance company, I will take a pharmaceutical company. Uh, Nowadays, though Nigeria is still lagging behind, but there are some advanced countries in the world now whereby pharmaceutical company have actually incorporated what we call track and trace. Track and trace means its ability to trace the history, the genealogy of a product from since when it was manufactured to till when it is being consumed by a final consumer. So let's say company like Me and Baker, everybody know Me and Baker. They produce, let's say they produce a paracetamol. That paracetamol, they can in a day they can produce 1 million sachets of paracetamol. And after the production, they pack it, they ship it out. Everybody pick his own. You go and buy at the pharmaceutical store beside your house. You use it. But with track and trace technology incorporated with a blockchain, it is now possible to track sachet, each sachet of paracetamol. So if anybody use certain drug at a time in any time, and that drug has any bad effects, it is now possible to be able to track everywhere that drug has passed through. The distributor, the retailer that actually distributes that drug to the downline supply chain actor. they will be able to trace it, and they will now trace it to me and Baker, and me and Baker will be able to know at what particular point did they produce that product, which different chemical did they mix together to actually produce that, actually give rise to that one sachet out of that 1 million sachet of paracetamol that was produced. So the ability to track and trace of an item is actually increase the productivity in pharmaceutical industry in advanced country. Nigeria is just waking up to it currently, so we've not actually start benefiting from it 100%. But when it comes into play with full force in Nigeria, if you drink a Coca-Cola and something happen to it, government will be able to track all the batches that one bottle that you drank that is causing issue. Government will be able to track and trace everywhere that batch has been supplied to, and they will be able to recall it back without affecting other products of Coca-Cola or even other batches of the same product. So that's one of the benefit that pharmaceutical industry has actually benefited from technology. If you now look at medicine, uh, we've been doing we've been doing MRI, we've been doing CT scan. All these things that we actually take for granted, whenever anybody is sick, they will go to the hospital, they will do CT scan. Nowadays, if you go to all these advanced countries, they don't rely on professionals alone to actually interpret CT scan or MRI scan.
Okay, so.
Artificial intelligence have been built in such a way that through the use of image or pattern recognition, they will be able to read the output of CT scan and instantly diagnose what is actually wrong with that patient.
Mm.
So with that, you don't actually 100% rely on human being.
Mm.
You understand? You
Yes, sir.
don't you don't 100% rely on human being, because human being can, sometimes because of the mood, you may misdiagnose a patient. But
Mm.
when you build this thing into a system, into a machine, you evaluate the model that is, which is the core component, which is the brain of that machine. You've evaluated, several professionals have evaluated it, and they've come into conclusion that this model is 100% working, and it has been certified. When they upload it into this machine, that machine will be working perfectly 100%, as so far there is no any physical damage to that machine. And that machine will be able to interpret the result of CT scan, the result of MRI scan in a timely manner. There will be no more queue in the office of the doctor that's supposed to interpret that result for us. So medicine has actually benefit a lot when it comes to image recognition technology,
Mm.
uh, especially in the advanced world. So technology has actually enhanced several professions. And when I was talking before, I made mention of military. If you are conversant with what is happening in Russia and Ukraine, you will
Okay.
know that, in fact, currently both sides, Ukraine and Russia, both of them are even tired of physical fighting.
Yeah.
They are tired of killing themselves physically. It's drone that they are now sending.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
It's drone that they are now sending, and it's better for machine to die than human being to die.
Mm.
And machine is even now more effective in eliminating several strategic area than human. Where human being cannot be, they can be in their control center and be controlling drone through GPS coordinate and etc. And they will be actually be able to pinpoint any danger that they want to eliminate because of technology. So technology has actually revolutionized everywhere. Look at even the BRT, that the common BRT that we are enjoying today in Lagos. So I don't need to be keeping cash in my pocket now. I can load my money into my card, and with that, whenever I enter BRT, just to scan my card, I just enter. And even that, at the level of technology today, that is even kind of rudimentary.
Mm.
Some countries have gone far from that. through even retina scanning, all my account detail will be downloaded into the system, and the BRT will be able to deduct their own money from my bank account just through retina scanning. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So, which means even the BRT that we are enjoying is even still rudimentary. So now, as time goes on, all this technology will be revolutionizing every area of our life. So every profession, every profession, without technology, you will not be able to move forward.
Mm.
So I think that's where I will stop now, unless if there is
Very
enough time. Because
wow.
if you look at agriculture also, in fact, if you Nigeria is still a kind of behind in this area. If you go to country like Israel, go and see how technology have revolutionized agriculture. Go to Netherlands, despite the fact that they are not having good soil, their greenhouse soil is enough for them to feed the whole of Netherlands, and they are even exporting food to other countries.
Mm.
Go to Australia, see how they use technology to actually revolutionize their agriculture, their poultry, their animal husbandry, all those things. But we are still carrying our cow up and down from Lagos to Kaduna to get food. You
Mm.
understand? So technology has actually made life easy in several areas, several professions, several disciplines. We can
Sir,
continue talking, you see, but
sir,
I will stop
I'd like
here.
to ask, sir. Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I want to ask something just like you just stated. You mentioned about diverse developed countries that are doing very well in technology space, and this is it's a very beautiful one, and in fact, it's a beautiful experience that we all see. Sir, but like I, I don't want to just generalize it by saying okay, Africa. Let me say developing countries, because we have developed countries already who are already implementing and transforming their businesses and industry via technology. But for okay, let me be specific. For a country like Nigeria, because I think I there are some other countries in Africa that are also doing well. But a country like Nigeria that is lagging behind. So like we have great tech people here, but somehow I don't know if it's like we're lagging behind in some specific areas. So how then can we implement and transform businesses like using technology in this developing country that we are in?
Okay. In fact, actually a good question. Our lagging behind is not actually as a result of lack of knowledge. We have
Mm-hmm.
several thousands of knowledgeable people.
Yes, sir.
You have several type of personnel that have actually done great thing in another country. But what we are actually lacking is the government support. That's the truth.
Mm,
All these area that I'm talking about, especially the agriculture, it actually require a lot of resources
mm-hmm.
to pull off. And every business there is risk. you know but all these advanced countries, they provide incentive for research, because everything technology actually arise from research. Without research, there will be no technology, and research is not cheap. And the only people that actually can actually support research in is government. So if government can provide a lot of grants, a special grant for all these critical sector, especially agriculture or healthcare, all these kind of sector that are so important to our well-being, if they can provide enough grants, they can provide enough support, there will be a lot of innovation in this area. So let me give you as an example. We have young graduates that just graduated with a lot of initiative, with lot of idea in their head. Instead of them to be thinking of quickly get job to be able to pay house rent, they want to stop living with their parents. They quickly need to get apartments. They will pay rent. They will start feeding themselves, all those kind of things. In all these countries that we are talking about, the youth are not thinking about that. So they are so comfortable psychologically and mentally. So when you are comfortable psychologically and digitally, you'll be able to sit down. Any idea that you have, you'll be able to pursue that idea. If let's say you want to start greenhouse agriculture, you'll be able to have that intellectual stability to actually start that greenhouse agriculture without fear, without you being fear that, oh, will I be able to make my money back within a year? No, major technology breakthrough doesn't happen within a year. So it actually, there is need for government support, or even all these big company support, to kind
Thank you,
of
sir.
give people grants to be able to pursue their idea and their innovation.
Thank
So
you very
when we have it, everything we to actually meet those developed country where they are.
Thank you very much, sir. Wow, thank you so much, sir. Yes, sir. This is a beautiful one. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for the explanation. Thank you so much for breaking it down for us. Thank you for helping us understand it, sir. Okay, sir, I would like to ask Engineer Ebenezer Chiazo. Sir, what do you think about this same question? I would like to hear your input. I would like that you enlighten us about what you think and what your perspective is as regards how examples of successful technologies implementations that have transformed businesses and industry, and how a developing country like Nigeria can, fit into this space, because we have developed countries that have gone far. Of course, we know they are developed countries, but that we are developing countries does not mean that that we're a developing country does not mean that we should be lagging behind. Yes, sir. I would like to hear your input, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dami. Okay, so if I got your question correctly, it's what type of technology, or rather, how can Nigeria um, sort of create like an environment, a conducive environment, such that development would be the case, that development would be like a natural response
Yes,
as
sir.
opposed to the way things are right now. Okay, so like Mr. Adewale mentioned, yeah, there's a huge chunk of it that actually goes to government intervention. So support could even go beyond funding, right? It could just go to creating policies that would make certain industries favorable to go to. So we've seen things like creating a policy, like a tax reduction policy in a certain manufacturing space. I think that's it was a similar type of campaign that got Tesla's production to be able to be conducive or even productive, profitable for him at the time. So I think there are certain stringent cutbacks that could be installed in place to make certain industry just look favorable to going into. So aside policy, I think it also goes to sparking up conversation. So it's about getting people to actually implement. So I believe there are actually a ton of very smart guys out there in Nigeria. Yeah. So, but then the gap, right? That's, or rather, where they seem to be more placed in is the sports where either they make money right now. Yeah, that's how can I become profitable? How can I sustain myself? That kind of stuff. So people are more of thinking towards this kind of questions. And yeah, well, these questions are actually very important for the individual. They tend to then go into, let's say, paid employment. But at the same time, there are other factors like so I may have like a desire to pursue a certain say entrepreneurial journey, yeah, and but then I'm stuck in a paid employment. If that's the case, you may want to eventually say delegate time when you come back, or like post work activities to be able to focus on that thing. But then you would find yourself not really being in the zone where you can pursue that thing, because say certain things like traffic, yeah, like they look very mundane, but at the end of the day, that's say traffic in Lagos. I'm currently in Lagos. That's why I'm speaking of traffic. Yeah, so you may want to do something when you get back, but then traffic sort of interrupts that. You're not able to get